Welcome to The Explainer, everyone. Today, we're looking at something absolutely crucial for your Portuguese. Our goal is pretty simple, but honestly, it's totally transformative. We're going to learn the precise pronunciation of some really common verbs, because getting this right is essential if you want to confidently express your feelings. You know, we aren't just memorizing vocabulary today. No, we're actually diving into the mechanics of emotion.
So let's dive right into our core question. How do you actually sound natural when expressing your likes, your loves, and even your dislikes? Because think about it, it's one thing to just know the words on a page, right? But as we explore how rhythm and pronunciation work together today, you're going to see exactly how to go from sounding, well, kind of robotic and textbook taught to beautifully, effortlessly natural.
To make all of this stick, we're going to structure our journey like a typical day. So let's kick things off with Section 1, Morning Moods and Preferences.
Let's begin right at the lowest end of our emotional spectrum with the verb odiar, which simply means to hate. Looking at the broad phonetic spelling here, O-G-R, man, you can almost feel that heavy dragging energy of waking up on the wrong side of the bed, can't you?
Now, what's really interesting about this is the surprising soft J sound sitting right there in the middle. In Brazilian Portuguese, that D actually transforms into a G syllable right before you hit the stressed R at the end. It's an O, then a soft J, kind of like the J in the English word jungle, ending with a hard punch on R. O-G-R.
Okay, I want you to actually practice this out loud with me. Try using a really weary, dramatic tone to capture that true, awful morning feeling. Ready? Eu odeio acordar cedo. I hate waking up early. Do you feel how that odeio literally lets you drag out your displeasure? It is just so incredibly expressive when you really lean into it.
Moving slightly up the spectrum, we're going to navigate out of that bad mood by taking a little control and making a choice. We do this with the verb preferir, which means to prefer, and it's pronounced preferir.
So let's break down the mechanics here. The absolutely crucial point is that unlike a lot of the other verbs we're looking at today, the stress unexpectedly falls on the back half of the word. You start off kind of light with pre, like in the word pretend, and then you land firmly on that second syllable, ferir.
Let's deliver a totally natural example sentence together. Pay really close attention to how those syllables flow. Eu prefiro café a chá. I prefer coffee to tea. Notice how just stating a preference kind of gives you a bit of your morning rhythm back?
And you know, this brilliantly illustrates how we transition into the much better parts of our day, dealing with things that actually bring us joy. Which brings us to Section 2, moving to the music.
All right, here is our absolute baseline verb for enjoyment, gostar, which simply means to like. The phonetic breakdown for this one is gostar. Honestly, this is the ultimate workhorse verb of Portuguese. You're going to use this one constantly.
Let's see how this builds a really unique sound, specifically isolating that sh right in the middle. In Brazilian Portuguese, that S often softens into this beautiful sh sound. So, the G is hard like in go, the O is open like ah in saw, and then you just slide right into that sh before hitting the final R, which is either soft and aspirated or rolled.
Let's put it into practice. Say it with me and try to keep the rhythm steady and upbeat to really match the feeling of enjoying some Brazilian music. Eu gosto de música brasileira. It has a real bounce to it, right? It just feels inherently positive.
But hey, what if we want to elevate the emotion a bit? We move from simply liking something to truly, deeply adoring it with the verb adorar. Adorar.
Looking at the mechanics here, we start with this open ah sound, exactly like in the word father. Then a soft D, like in dog. But the real magic, that happens at the end. There is an incredibly strong, powerful stress on the final rar. A-do-rar. It actually requires your mouth to open wide, literally projecting that adoration outward.
Let's try an example sentence that demands a really energetic, rhythmic delivery, one that actually feels a bit like a dance step itself. Eu adoro dançar samba. I adore dancing samba. The rhythm of those words perfectly mirrors the vibrant energy of the action.
And now, guys, we have arrived at the absolute peak of our emotional spectrum. Section 3, pure language passion.
This right here is the ultimate declaration of affection in Portuguese. Amar, meaning to love. Amar. Just two simple syllables, but they basically carry the weight of the world.
The mechanics for this one are wonderfully simple, with that wide, open ah sound. But you definitely want to note that the final R here gives us a really fascinating glimpse into regional diversity. It isn't exactly uniform across the country, which, let's be real, is exactly what makes the language so organic and beautiful.
So let's state this next, deeply relatable example sentence with pure, unadulterated passion. Eu amo chocolate. I love chocolate. Whether you're talking about a person or just your absolute favorite sweet treat, the intensity of Amar leaves absolutely no room for doubt. Now, I just want to briefly pull back the curtain on that regional difference I mentioned a second ago. As we've seen with a few of these verbs, there are two very distinct regional variations in Brazil for pronouncing that final R. On the one hand, you've got this soft, almost aspirated R, which sounds a lot like an English H. And on the other hand, you have a firmly rolled R. The cool thing? Both are completely correct, highly natural, and a really great reminder that sounding authentic means embracing those local regional accents. Okay, now that we've covered the whole emotional spectrum, we really need to unlock the master key that ties all these sounds together. Section 4, perfecting the Portuguese rhythm.
Because Portuguese is such a deeply rhythmic language, mastering 2 specific practice steps is exactly what is going to make your likes, your loves, and your dislikes sound entirely natural. Step 1, you've got to focus intensely on the stress. You need to hit those syllables like rar and mar with absolute conviction. Step 2, pay close attention to the overall rhythm. You want to let the words bounce and flow, almost like music. When you combine that correct stress with the right rhythm, man, you stop just speaking a foreign language and you start genuinely expressing yourself.
So, I want to leave you today with this provocative question. Which Portuguese emotion are you gonna express first? I mean, are you going to dramatically complain about your rough morning? Or are you going to passionately declare your undying love for chocolate? I challenge you to take these brand new rhythmic skills out into the real world today. Remember the stress, feel the rhythm, and start speaking your truth. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, keep practicing.